And we also have more progress in the fight against COVID-19. An FDA advisory committee expected to meet tomorrow, voting on a recommendation of Moderna's vaccine for emergency use after claiming it was, quote, highly effective in its clinical study. Analysis on all this now from John Bussey, the Wall Street Journal's associate editor. Obviously, the Moderna news, if we want to start there, John, is good news. Would give us a second option. What do you make of the speed at which we're moving here on these vaccine efforts?
Yeah, that's right. It will be a second vaccine that will have a remarkable efficacy rate. So it's 94% effective with people. So this will augment what's out there now from Pfizer. And it still has to go through another hurdle. There has to be an independent committee that has to analyze all of the data. But the FDA has already proclaimed it highly effective. And so it has a tailwind at this point, Connell. It has a pretty good likelihood that it's going to get approved very soon. And remember, it already started making the vaccine. This was one of the efforts made to fund some early manufacture of vaccines. So there will be vaccine available to go into the market pretty quickly. Not to vaccinate everybody right away. That's going to take months, but they'll be able to get a quick start.
What about those AOC comments we played a moment ago? She goes after Pelosi and Schumer. Does the president-elect Joe Biden have an issue on the left side of his Democratic Party? And if so, how do you think it affects, his opening days in office? He's been a moderate, or would like to call himself a moderate for many years in the Senate and as vice president, but he's pushed by this left side of his party. How will that play itself out, do you think?
Yeah, that's right. And it's nothing new. The left side of the party has very often pushed against the middle, saying that its agenda isn't being listened to closely enough. So it's a kind of a normal tension within the Democratic Party. Remember, most of the United States is somewhere in the middle, and that holds true for Democrats as well. It's not a enormous part of the party that Ocasio-Cortez represents. But she's very smart. She's highly articulate. She's very charismatic. And so she has really kind of elevated the progressive wing of the Democratic Party. And when she talks about the leadership issue particularly, she's kind of right. These are older members of Congress. They've been in those jobs, Schumer in the Senate, Pelosi in the House for quite some time. And it's also not unusual for younger members of the Congress to be pushing for greater leadership roles. She has a long way to go, though, because, again, this is not an enormous section of the Democratic Party that she represents. These are established politicians who are in the leadership roles.
And if someone like an AOC were, as we're having the stimulus debate in Washington still up until this very hour, to push for something like direct payments, sending people checks again, you'd say, OK, and I think she is in favor of it. But to have Josh Hawley on the right side of the political spectrum doing the same is kind of interesting. I wonder how that's going to affect it and whether that'll have to end up being part of this deal if they finally ever close one. The checks going out, maybe $600-700 instead of $1,200.
Yeah, I think that's right, Connell. And I think that that's where they are headed, at least at this moment. Mind you, things have shifted several times. There's a feeling that, look, the economy is beginning to sag more heavily. They need to do something quickly to stimulate the economy as well as get money in the hands of people who really need it at this point. So the expectation is that this roughly $900 billion deal that they seem to be galvanizing around will include direct payments. It will include an extension of the enhanced unemployment insurance, perhaps around $300 extra a week. It will include support, again, for small business and for schools and for some healthcare workers' facilities. What it won't include is liability protection for businesses. And the feeling there was that, well, if you do that, the Democrats were saying that if you do that, that might cause businesses to not perhaps protect their workers and their customers as much as they might. And it won't include essentially direct payments or support for the budgets of states, because the Republicans feel, well, look, if the states haven't managed their financial affairs, then why should they get support from the government? The states, on the other hand, are saying the government shifted a lot of the cost of the coronavirus prevention programs to the states, and so we need some money.
Right, but some of their priorities could be helped by the money in other spots, especially the small business, located in those states. John, thank you. It's always good to see you. John Bussey, Wall Street Journal.